What if I told you that everything you call reality is just an illusion carefully nurtured by your own thoughts? The sentence sounds absurd at first, but stop for a moment. Observe your body right now. Where are you? What are you hearing, thinking, feeling? Is all of this really real? Or is it just a continuous stream of projections from your mind, trying to control the uncontrollable? In this video, we'll dive deep into the radical vision of Jiddu Krishnamurti, one of the most challenging and liberating thinkers of the 20th century. He didn't offer easy answers. Instead, he tore away the veil of illusions with an almost uncomfortable clarity. He said, "Truth is a pathless land. Prepare to be confronted." This content is not for those seeking comfort, but for those seeking truth. Together, let's go through the layers of illusion that cover your identity, your past, your desires, and even your idea of freedom. And if you have the courage to go all the way, you might discover what it truly means to be alive. Check now if you are subscribed to the channel. This type of reflection is not common, and if you feel that it touches you, be part of this community that seeks self-knowledge, authenticity, and inner peace. Now then, take a deep breath. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Are you alive or just surviving? The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It is going through an entire existence without ever having truly lived. Wake up, work, fulfill obligations, maintain relationships, nurture expectations, and repeat. On the outside, everything seems to be working, but on the inside, something is screaming. A tiredness that cannot be cured with sleep, an anguish that cannot be explained with words, a restlessness that disguises itself as boredom, anxiety, or even success. Krishnamurti said that most people are not alive. They are conditioned, living through images, patterns, and ideas inherited from family, school, culture. And the most tragic thing? Most people don't even realize it. We live numb to distractions. News, social media, goals, entertainment, opinions. All of this may seem like life, but it's just noise. Noise that takes you away from yourself. And the cruelest part, we have been trained to run away from silence, because in silence the truth appears, and often it is not pretty. It says, "You don't know who you are. You never knew. Everything you have lived has been a reflection of what you were told to be." It hurts, but it also frees. When you start asking yourself, why do I do what I do? Where do my thoughts come from? Is all this stuff I call me really real? That's where real life begins, because questioning is the first act of courage. And as Krishnamurti said, freedom begins the moment you begin to observe yourself. Observe without judgment. Observe without trying to fix. Observe like someone watching a river flowing. Because it is in this pure gaze that transformation happens. Life is not what you think it is. Life is, but you can only realize it when you stop trying to control it. And that is why many live, but are not alive. Because being alive requires presence, and presence requires courage to see your masks, your escapes, your illusions. Awakening doesn't start with answers. It starts with discomfort. And if you're uncomfortable right now, don't run away. This is the beginning of your freedom. Chapter 2. The illusion of self. You are not what you think you are. You believe you know who you are. You have a name, a story, a past full of memories and emotions. You define yourself by what you have lived, what you have achieved, or even what you have suffered. But what if all this is just a narrative? A story the mind tells to maintain control? Krishnamurti proposes something almost unacceptable to the ego. You are not what you think you are. Your identity, that sense of self, is constructed. A collage of memories, experiences, inherited beliefs, unresolved fears, and unexamined desires. And the most disturbing thing, you believe in it so much that you spend your entire life defending an illusion. You say, "I'm like this. I'm anxious. I'm the child of difficult parents. I'm insecure." But who is this I that feels all this? Krishnamurti said, the observer is the observed. That is to say, the I who observes thoughts is thought itself. You observe your anger, but the observer is also shaped by it. You think you are separate from your fears, but they are what shaped you. This is not just a play on words, it is a key to freedom. As long as you identify with your thoughts and emotions, you are trapped in an endless cycle. You do not live. You react. You do not choose. You repeat. You are not free. You are programmed. And here is the question that can change your life. Who would you be without your stories? Without the need to please? Without the trauma that prevents you from trusting? Without the past that you carry as if it were your own? Body. You know that emptiness you feel when everything is silent? Many people call it loneliness, anguish, but maybe that's just your true self trying to emerge, free from definitions. Krishnamurti would not tell you, believe this or believe that. He would invite you to observe. Observe the movement of the mind. Observe the moment when anger, fear, desire arise, and realize that you are none of them. You are not your pain. You are the one who sees the pain. And when that realization sets in, even for an instant, something dissolves, something opens up. And for the first time, perhaps, you feel what it is to be alive, without having to be someone else. If this touched you in any way, if this message made sense to you, leave your like now. This is not just a button. It is a sign that this content is awakening something inside you, and it also helps spread this reflection to more people who are lost in the same illusions. You are not alone on this journey. Let's go together. Chapter 3. Thought never liberates. It only recreates the past. Have you ever noticed that even when you are trying to change, your mind continues to function exactly as before? You read self-awareness books, you go to therapy, you try to meditate, but somehow the same old emotions keep coming back. The same doubts, the same fears, the same reactions. Why? Krishnamurti gives us an answer that is as simple as it is devastating. Thought cannot free you. It only knows how to repeat the past. The mind is a survival machine. It compares, judges, projects, interprets. It takes what happened yesterday and tries to apply it today. It reacts, but it doesn't see. And that is precisely what imprisons us. Because everything we think about ourselves, about others, about life, is based on memory. Are you afraid to love? Probably because you loved in the past and were hurt. Do you not trust people? Maybe because you trusted and were betrayed. Do you feel inadequate? Maybe because you heard that when you were still a child. But now stop, take a deep breath, and reflect with me. Is the past still happening, or is it just a thought now? Krishnamurti said, to be free from the past is to die to it, effortlessly. It is not fighting against memories. It is not trying to convince yourself that everything is all right. It is observing with total attention how thought acts, and realizing that it is not the truth. It is just a reflection. When you believe your thoughts without questioning them, you live in a reality that is not real. It is a repeated interpretation. You think you're thinking, but really, you're just reacting based on what already was. And here's the most liberating and most frightening point. Truth cannot be thought. It can only be lived. In the silence between two thoughts, in the effortless presence, in the consciousness that observes without interfering. This space is so rare that it scares, because in it, there is no past, no future. There is no name, no role, no history. There is only what is, and that is freedom. Now I want to tease you. Can you remember a time when you were completely present, without thinking, judging, or interpreting? Comment below. Be honest. Be vulnerable. Maybe that moment lasted seconds. Maybe it was in the middle of nature, or in a moment of pain, but share it. Because your experience might awaken something in someone else too. Truth lives in these small moments, and when we acknowledge them, together, something sacred happens. Chapter 4. True freedom is silent, and almost no one can stand it. Everyone talks about freedom, but few have the courage to truly experience it, because real freedom, the freedom that Krishnamurti invites us to touch, has no guarantees, no supports, no promises. It is an abyss, and almost no one is ready to jump. Most people confuse freedom with choice, but choosing between two options programmed by the past is still being trapped. It's like spinning around inside a prison painted in different colors. Krishnamurti said, freedom is not something that comes at the end, it is the first step. And that step can only be taken when the mind becomes silent. But here's the paradox. Silence is scary. That's why we're always talking, listening, planning, discussing, distracting. We make noise because we're afraid of what we'll find in the silence. And do you know what we found there? Ourselves. Not the constructed I, but what is left when Everything is gone. When there is no more image, role, protection, it is in this silence that freedom resides, but also the truth. And that is why so many people run away, because the truth is too simple for the mind to accept. It has no argument, it has no logic, it has no form. It can only be perceived when you stop trying to understand it, and that requires surrender. Not passive, resigned surrender, but conscious surrender. You simply stop resisting. You stop trying to control yourself, protect yourself, justify yourself, and something magical happens. Time disappears. You are no longer in the past. You are no longer in the future. You are here. You look at a tree, and it is alive. You feel the wind, and it is no longer a detail, but a sacred touch. You hear someone speak, and you are not thinking about the answer. You simply are. And in this being, without effort, without definition, there is peace. A peace that does not depend on anything, that has no reason, no explanation. It just exists. But living like this is almost unbearable for the ego, because the ego needs movement, it needs problems, drama, history. Then he comes back. He tries to take you out of the now. He says this is useless, that you are wasting your time. And here's the real choice. Will you follow the noise or will you remain silent? Because it is in this silence that life reveals itself, life without illusions, life without demands, life as it is, simple, mysterious, sacred. Chapter 5. 2. Really live is to die to everything you've ever been. To truly live is not to accumulate. It is to let go. But who is willing to die for everything that once was? Die to your certainties, to your image, to your history, to the comfort of feeling like someone. Krishnamurti said that true rebirth does not happen at the end of life. It happens now, when the ego dies, when you stop identifying with what you carry and start living with what you are. This psychological death is frightening because it takes away everything we use as a shield, but it also makes room for the only real thing, love. Not romantic, conditional, needy love, but that silent love that springs from a heart that demands nothing, a heart that no longer needs to be tested, controlled, conquered. Most people don't love, they just exchange needs. But when the I disappears, love appears, because only love remains when everything else is gone. And this is where life begins, not when you achieve something, but when you stop clinging to everything. This is dying while still alive, and it is the greatest act of freedom a human being can perform. It's not a theory, it's not a pretty idea, it's a real experience, and it starts when you stop running away from yourself. Krishnamurti challenges us to look in the mirror and ask with complete honesty, do I really want to see the truth, or do I just want to feel better? This question burns, but it also heals, because only the truth heals, even when it destroys, before it frees. Now I invite you, and with courage and sincerity, what in you needs to die so that your real life can begin? Write in the comments. Yes, this is intimate, but sometimes putting it into words is the first step to letting go. And maybe your delivery will inspire someone who hasn't yet found the strength to let go of the old. This space here is safe. It's yours. It's ours. You've made it this far. That says a lot about you, because most people give up halfway through. Most people want quick answers, immediate relief, distraction. But you stayed, you felt it. And maybe now something has changed. Not because you learned something new, but because you remembered something that was always there inside. That life is more than thoughts, goals, or identities. Real life is silent. It is simple. It is subtle. She doesn't shout, she whispers. And only those who are willing to be silent inside can hear her. Krishnamurti didn't want followers. He wanted free minds, and freedom is not something you earn. It's something you discover when you let go of everything that is not you. So if something has awakened inside you, if some part of you has cried in silence or smiled in recognition, you are alive. And now, it's up to you to decide, will you stay awake or will you go back to sleep? If this content touched your soul, subscribe to the channel now. This is not just any channel. It is a refuge for those who are tired of masks and seek authenticity, awareness, and inner peace. With each video, we dive deeper together. You don't have to walk alone, but you do have to take the step. And the next step is yours.